a new month. And I think for many core members, it's going to be maybe the start of a new dawn. I spoke intentionally yesterday to some core members about this issue. And a good number of them were saying no. Of course, maybe that would be the default reaction of everybody to a change, as a person. But yes, according to what we are going to talk about today, it reads that the FEC, which is the Federal Executive Council, cancelled NYSC passing out parade and extended the orientation camp to 6 weeks, orientation to 6 weeks now. So the federal government, approved a comprehensive reform of the National Youth Service Corps since its establishment in 1973, replacing military leadership with a civilian director general. I think that's one conversation. So to say, let's stick it in the box, this is the first point. Why switch the director general from being a military person now to a civilian
DG?
DG, that's a conversation. And again, it also restructured the one-year scheme into 11 specialized skills-based streams, redesigned the orientation camp program and uniform, and directed the amendment of the NYSC Act to give immediate legal effect to the changes. So that's exactly what the president wants, or should we say the FEC now, the Federal Executive Council. That was one of the things. There were many other conversations at the FEC meeting, but one thing that was peculiar to this situation was about the orientation camp. And then thank God, I also passed through the system, and I saw a bit of things that happened while I was a core member. While I think it's a development, because there's no way we can just do the same thing again and again, and not consider the changing times, right? It only makes us foolish if we keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So we understand now that the country needs to increase its production capacity. And I think that's one of the things decided. Of course, there's side groups. Side is the skill acquisition and it's the entrepreneurial development or something, according to the NYSC, which is a good development. But this time around, they are changing the way orientation camp is going to run to about 11 skills-based kind of program where an average person will get to learn something much more intensely. Because if you want to say that people learn for 3 weeks and then that's okay, it's not okay, it's not enough, right? 6 weeks can also give that opportunity for core members to learn more. I'm forced to say something, maybe just to learn how to do akara, but that's on the humor side of things. But to be honest now, I think it's going to make a lot of sense if we have it extended, my own view anyway, to extend it so that they can train them more on some of this. For example, people who were in the ICT department at the time when we were learning the skills in camp, they had just a little time to practice what they have learned. And this time around, I think it's going to be more, it's going to help them more because they're going to have more time to learn, more time to even practice, on the job kind of situation for them before they leave the camp. Because I tell you, for one, many persons who leave the camp to their PPAs would probably not go back to whatever they learned outside. It's just a normal thing. Even inside, people are sleeping. Like, side is a sleeping pill for many persons. Like, I mean, the skill acquisition program that is that's been in camp, people sleep when they have those kind of structures. So I think it's a good way to see that. But the Director General moving from being a military person now to a civilian person is what I'm even questioning. That, okay, does it mean that soldiers are not going to be deployed to camps? If it means that way,
no, I don't think that's part of it.
It might not be part, but I'm trying to look at why will it be that the DG was removed in the first place to become a civilian? Why do you not like the DG being a military person? Because I think I don't know how best to put this, but I'm saying they're soldiers always in camp, right? They're designated to those positions to man and to guard the camp. And I think there's a chain of command that is swift, that is understandable, and that is easy to pass down from the DG being a military person to an average person who is maybe the camp commandant in that sense. Because there's a chain of, because if you understand the way the thing has been structured, it's a paramilitary kind of setting, and then it's regimented. If it's regimented, the people that are making it regimented are the soldiers, right, in camps. They are the ones who enforce the law in that sense. And you can see that they put us through some of the trainings they've gone through. They tell us, this is not how to live, guys. You cannot be doing like this. You have to wake up, they blow the whistle, they wake you up at the time you don't even want. They tell you there are laws, there are regiments and all of that you have to follow. And I think I love it. But I'm just saying there's a chain of command that comes from the DG being a military person to a commandant who is a military person, and down to the soldiers who man and guard every positions in camp. So I'm saying that I'm trying to understand the rationale behind that. Is there going to be, what would be the criteria? Because it could be political. My problem is that it could just be political, that whoever becomes the DG is just a political person that has been given an opportunity because he helped the last administration to get into government, and then say, okay, let's just give you another. But I think I love the regimented structure of the military, and that's what I'm saying. That's my bias, and that's why I really do not think, I don't kind of understand, or I do not really agree with that replacement of the DG.
Okay, yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on, and then you share the sentiment of millions of Nigerians. And then I think NYSC was created in 1973, and then according to the Minister of Youth and Development, he said it was majorly created after the Civil War to foster national unity, because we found that the reason why a lot of persons do not want to tolerate other people from other regions is because they feel you're not from my place, so why should I tolerate you? So they created that to ensure that people can manage other people from other regions. And then he now said, looking at 2026, he said the priorities of Nigeria as a country has changed. He said that we are no longer interested, or we are no longer having issues around national unity, but I beg to differ, basically. But that's a conversation for another day. And then he said that's why they want to change the scheme in a way. And so I try to look at certain things that they want to do, the reforms now, and I think some will require legislative amendment, while some will require constitutional amendment, because NYT is an act, and before you do certain things, you need to embark on certain amendment. And then some can even require the president say, okay, I just want to change this. He has the authority, right? And then I try to look at some of the things that they want to do. They want to change the uniform, just like you mentioned, extension from 3 weeks to 6 weeks, and they will divide the 6 weeks into 2 weeks each. And I also read that, at the point of registration, you're expected to pick a certain thing that you want to focus on. And then we have like agriculture. I'll try to read, some of this things so that we can just, follow. We have the education core, agricultural core, the technology and digital core, the legal core, the public service core, the infrastructure core, the green core, the enterprise core. I don't want to call all now because I don't want to bore you and the listeners now. So at the point of registration, you're expected to pick one out of this. I think we have 11 of them. And then I think these reforms, some will make sense to a lot of persons, but then I think the major thing we need to focus on about NYSC is insecurity. A lot of parents will say, do not even bother about NYSC. Just wait till you're 30, get exemption later, because I cannot risk your life. And then even the personal parade that they want to change it to a ceremony now. It's no longer going to be a personal parade. Where I served, there was no personal parade. So even the personal parade is not available in every state. We have 36 states in the country. There was no personal parade when I finished my NYSC. So I think that's on another side now. So I think the major thing we should also focus on, beyond all these reforms, good reforms, because they are saying that, beyond the drill, the manual drill and all of those things, we need people to learn. We want to prepare them for the future. Because, I don't know, in a way, I'm feeling like the whole Akara, discussion over the weekend and last week maybe prompted the federal government to say, okay, if they are saying, why are you projecting Akara business for the youths? It's for the market women. Why? Let us come up with something much better. Let us come up with tech skills and things like that. So it's a good one on one side, but let's not lose focus on the major thing affecting NYSC, which is insecurity. Can we begin to look at not posting people to places that are prone to, terrorism and banditry? Because you see somebody who is from a particular state, you post that person to a state where people are dying on a daily basis. Since we are now talking, we are no longer concerned about national unity, because according to the federal government, we've been able to achieve that. Can we talk about the safety of these people? If I want to serve in my region, people should be allowed to do that, in as much as it will not maybe affect the scheme or something. So this should be the focus. Insecurity. The reforms are good. 6 weeks, and then they want to change, from military DG to civilian DG. If it's going to require a legislative amendment or a constitutional amendment, we can begin to talk about that. But then let's not forget the major problem, which is insecurity.
Yeah, I would just add to that what you've said, and that would be that I was going through the core, like you said. There's the agriculture for the 11 skills-based program that they want to introduce now.
Right.
I'm not sure many of these things are new. I'm not sure core members are alien to this, especially in camp. That's why I mentioned the Said group. We understand the Said is key acquisition and entrepreneurial development in camps, and I understand why that was a thing. But now to now say they want to make it more structured is one thing I love. But again, my point is, I hope they do this thing very well, in the sense that are we still going to continue with the kind of education we get in agriculture and the practice we get in agriculture from the theories we learned in school, or it's going to be more practical? If it's going to be more practical, what are the measures they are putting in place to ensure this? Because we understand this is 2026. The world is moving so fast. And if, of course, any nation that would really do well, thrive, even in agriculture, food security, must invest in mechanization. And that is not even it. Because you also understand the case of climate change, so you need artificial irrigation as well. So let all of these things be structured into what you want to do. Not do just say you want, because it's almost like a lecture for me, because I'm reading through, I'm seeing agricultural core, I'm seeing ICT core, all of these cores, but let it be more structured. If that did not work well, the side group did not work well, then let this work, in the sense that you're putting some things, you are investing much more fund into this so that they can be exposed to the practical aspect of some of these cores that you are bringing.
They should not abort these processes, because after the 6 weeks, I think part of what I read is, because some of the core that we actually mentioned, it will take more than 6 weeks. So the people, the core members will not be transferred after the 6 weeks, because they need to continue the process. Because I mean, it will defeat the entire process if after 6 weeks they're done and then they were unable to complete what they were supposed to complete. Basically.
So I guess they should do more in terms of making it structured. I think structure is one thing we lack in this country. Structure. If you want to make this new law, make this promulgation, make it structured so that once people finish, like you said, they can still continue. Let it be a chain that, okay, once you leave camp, we can still communicate to you to say to go do this there or do this for the government, or whichever way. But I think it's a development.
And it's a fine place to leave that discussion this morning. We take a short break and we move on to newspaper headlines and analysis. Please stay with us. We'll be right back.
Need a professional space to bring your vision to life? Dominion Television Studios offers state-of-the-art facilities perfect for your next broadcast, commercial, corporate video, or live event. With flexible rental options, cutting-edge equipment, and a supportive team, we provide the perfect environment for high-quality productions. Unleash your creativity. For bookings, email us at marketing@dominion.org.ng. Call us on 0705 506 1061 or 0916 101 1061. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and TikTok at Dominion Broadcast, and on X at Dominion Cast. Book your space today. Dominion Television, your channel of choice.